Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Officially, welcome to our webinar for March. We are going to talk about women at work, the state of working mothers in the Philippines. This is also our Women's Month webinar. So, just a quick trivia for all of you. It's actually called Women's History Month, or if we want to be more accurate, it's called the Women's Role in History Month based on Proclamation number 227 during President Aquino's time. So, this is the first Aquino, not the second Aquino. So, that's just something to think about because as we go through this webinar, I hope that we can recall the special role that women have played to get to where we are now. Think about the women in history that really fought to make sure that we have rights, the rights that we currently enjoy. Think about the women in your own lives, whether it be your wives or your mothers, your daughters, or even your colleagues, your managers, your bosses. I hope that we can have that context as we look at the different learnings that we will listen to today. Just to quickly introduce myself for those who are joining us for the first time, you can call me Elisha. So I'm Elisha Corpus, and I did my master's in human resources and labor relations at Michigan State University. That's why my main focus is on organizations and the workplace. I like showing this picture, especially with our topic today, because I'm sure you already noticed this. HR is actually a field that is majority women. A lot of HR leaders, for example, are women. A lot of HR professionals are women. I think that's pretty obvious in our class picture. A majority of us are women. But when I moved from Michigan to Seattle to join Microsoft in their headquarters, that's when I realized that not all fields are majority women. Microsoft is a tech company. And as we know, stereotypically in the tech industry, it's majority men. It's actually overwhelmingly men. Sometimes when I'm in the bus going to work, I'm the only girl in the bus. And that's when you really realize that there are a lot of industries and fields still in this world where women have to be more represented. In Microsoft, this issue of gender parity, gender equality, and women empowerment, these are issues that we talked about a lot as part of our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. I loved being part of those conversations. I think it's so important to be aware of them and to be supportive of these advocacies. So then, when I came home in late 2018, I started my consulting practice. And now I have my own firm. It's called Elisha Corpus Consulting. Very creative. It's just my name, I know. But diversity, equity, and inclusion is one of those things that we focus on, along with culture transformation and leadership and team development. I did my own consulting firm. I established my own company because I wanted to make sure that the lessons I learned about diversity, equity, and inclusion in the US are lessons that I can share with professionals, HR professionals, leaders, and organizations here in the Philippines. So I love talking about women at work, not just during Women's Month, but in every month of the year. I think it's such an important topic, and I'm glad that we have a lot of people today who also think the same way that this is important. So let's see, who do we have in the room? If you have not done the Mentimeter yet, please go ahead and click the link in the chat, or you could go to www.menti.com and use the code 51706664. All right. This is anonymous, so don't worry. We wouldn't know the names of the people who are answering. But I just wanted to do this so we can see the diversity that we have in the room. So tingnan natin. It looks like karamihan sa atin dito are working mothers kayo. So thank you for being here, and I hope that you can share your own perspectives as well as we go through the session. We have 40% of us who are women with no kids. I'm part of that. So I am a working woman, but no kids. And then we have 6%, not a woman, but they would like to be supportive allies. Thank you so much for being here. It's so important to have people who are not women, but who are also very much aware of the different conditions and contexts that women are facing. I want to emphasize that this session is for everyone. Yes, we are talking about the state of working mothers in the Philippines, but this is really for everyone because we have colleagues and leaders who are working women who are mothers. And I think it's so important that we all are aware of these issues. Me personally, like what I told you, I'm not a mother. Our guest speaker is also not a mother. But we hope that you can get a lot of the research and database perspectives around these issues so that you can also talk about them with your own organizations. So thank you so much for sharing which one applies to you. Looking forward to also getting your own thoughts and your own learnings coming from your context. So with that, let's talk about why we are all here today. If we think about gender equality, the Philippines actually ranks quite high. We are the most gender equal country in Asia. That's according to the report by the World Economic Forum. Every year, they release a report called the Global Gender Gap Report. This is data from the latest report, so 2023 report. We are doing pretty well in Asia, and we're also doing pretty well in the world. We are number 16, 1-6, out of 146 countries globally. The Global Gender Gap Index actually measures gender equality based on 4 different factors. They look at economic participation and opportunity. Ibig sabihin, tinitingnan kung gaano ka-represented ang mga babae sa labor market. Kung nagtatrabaho ba at nakakakuha ng trabaho ang mga kababaihan. They look at educational attainment. They look at health and survival. And lastly, they look at political empowerment, meaning they want to see how well represented women are in the government of that country. Kung titingnan natin, ang factor na pinakamataas para sa Pilipinas ay educational attainment. It looks like a lot of women in the Philippines are able to finish their studies, even taking that to higher education or to college level education. It's good news, right? I hope it helps you feel a little bit good that at least we're doing quite well if we look at these 4 dimensions. However, we have to problematize this because being the highest country in Asia on gender equality does not necessarily mean that there's a high quality of life for women. Hindi ibig sabihin na mataas ang score sa gender equality ay automatically maganda na ang buhay ng mga kababaihan dun sa bansa na yon. Why do we say that? We know, for example, that number 1, a pay gap still exists worldwide and even in the Philippines. In the Philippines, women earn just about 71.6% of men's earnings. There's a 2017 study also from the Philippine Institute for Development Studies. They found that even though we have women who are senior managers, we don't see that representation in the highest executive levels. Highest executive levels meaning CEO level or even in boards of different organizations. We also know that even if there are women in government, they are underrepresented in the local level. Think about governors, mayors, barangay captains. We know that these levels or these positions are not yet filled with women in the way that is equal or almost equal to men. So those are the things that we can look at that will tell us it's not yet enough that we're already the highest scoring country in Asia. Now, think about the social norms as well. If we look at the beliefs and the values that we have in society, we can see that maybe women are not yet enjoying as much respect as men are able to have. Just a few years ago, diba, yung former president natin famously said that he didn't think women can be in the highest level of leadership in our country. So yun pa lang, example na yun ng siguro in terms of norms, hindi pa natin gaanong nakikita na equal talaga ang women sa mga kalalakihan. And then someone in the chat said, oo nga, lalo na sa panahong ito, it's still something that we still have to fight for along with the rights of our LGBTQIA friends. So, ito yung sana naiisip natin. High scores don't necessarily mean high quality of life. Now, let's look at working mothers. What's the statistic there? LinkedIn releases a report. It's called the LinkedIn Opportunity Index Report. This is something that they collect from around 30,000 plus respondents all around the world from 22 different countries. In 2021, they said that 42% of working women in the Philippines say that managing family life comes in the way of career development. Globally, that average is 45%. We are only slightly lower than the global average. If you look at the reasons for this, the women who responded, they said it's because of lack of time, lack of required skills, and lack of support, both from their companies and from their family life. So makikita natin dito na hindi pa tayo equipped to help the women who are working and also working at home as they do the caregiving duties and household duties. There's a part of this opportunity index where they look at the opportunities available for women. We've actually dropped in rankings. Dun sa latest report, mas mataas na yung Australia sa atin in terms of opportunities available. So we dropped. That means na kumonte yung mga available jobs and working opportunities for women. That's something that happened especially because of the pandemic, and we all know that it really disrupted a lot of industries. The interesting thing about that data, though, is even if we dropped in availability of opportunities, we remain high in terms of confidence in achieving success. What the report tells us is women in the Philippines remain optimistic about the reality that they are in. They still think that there's a lot of opportunity that they could grab. I think that's not surprising because every study, even the ones about happiness, for example, they famously say that we are a pretty resilient country. So we know that. But the thing is, how do we make sure that that confidence actually translates? Alam na naman natin na, di ba, confidently beautiful with a heart nga tayo, as we always like to say. But what can we do to support that confidence with actual career development and other life-enriching opportunities for women? That's what we are going to talk about today. In this webinar, we will discuss the following. Number one, how do working mothers perceive themselves and the roles that they play? Number two, now how does society perceive working mothers? And are those perceptions helping or hurting those working moms? Of course, number three, let's look at some actionable steps. What are those actions that we can take as colleagues, managers, and the leaders? For today, we are very lucky because we have someone who researched on this topic. Our guest speaker is Ileana Cabochan. So Ileana is from the UP Diliman Department of Anthropology. She's a lecturer and currently a master's student. This is Ileana's research. So Ileana's research includes motherhood, human rights, child rearing, pregnancy and childbirth practices, and the migration and adaptation of indigenous groups. I'm actually friends with Ileana's sister, and nakwento niya na nag-present si Ileana ng paper abroad sa India. And the topic of the paper was about working mothers. So then I knew that I just had to invite Ileana, and we're very lucky that she's available to learn with us today. So everyone, please give our guest speaker a round of applause, and let's welcome Ileana to our Zoom room. So hi, Ileana.
Hello everyone! Thank you, Elisha, for the introduction ng topic and also introduction sa akin. So, hello, good afternoon everyone. Okay lang po ba na magta-Taglish ako during our webinar today? Meron po bang merong mga barriers dyan, language barriers? Sana wala naman pong mahirapan, no? Kung magsalita ako sa Taglish ngayon. Okay, sige po. So let me just share my screen so that we can proceed. Okay, ayan, may nagsabi na mas okay daw po yun. So thank you po sa response. Alright, so katulad nga po ng sabi ni Elisha, ako po si Ileana Cabochan. Nagtuturo po ako ngayon sa University of the Philippines, Diliman sa Anthropology Department bilang lecturer po. No? Nagtuturo rin ako sa high school ng subject na Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics. Isa rin po akong estudyante, so I'm currently taking up my graduate studies also in anthropology, also in UP. So yung research interest ko po ay mga working mothers nga or mothers in general, no, and child rearing, so also children's lives. So ang anthropology po kasi pinag-aaralan namin ang kultura, more often than not tinitingnan namin yung buhay ng mga tao na usually invisible sa society. So, baka may mga ibang nagtatanong, di bakit mga nanay? Di ba parang sobrang everywhere nga ang mga nanay, di ba? May mga nagsasabi pa nga na mga nanay natin yung mga boss sa bahay, di ba? May mga tatay na yun yung mahilig sabihin, no? Macho-macho rin daw sila. Parang macho sila pero masunurin sila kay misis. So, bakit nanay? Ano yung problema sa mga nanay? Kung palagi nga natin silang nakikita, palagi nga natin silang naririnig, di ba? Minsan di pa natin sila nakikita, naririnig na natin sila. Ano yung problema, no? Or ano yung issue, no? Pagdating sa nanay o sa mga kababaihan dito sa ating bansa. So, ang research ko po ay produkto ng isang klase ko doon sa graduate studies. So, meron po kaming anthropology and human rights course. Tapos, pinag-research po kami ng aming professor. So, ito po ang naging bunga, no, ng aking research doon sa class na yon. Ang title po ng aking research ay Bukal sa Puso, Pwede Bang Abuso? So, the Normalized Sacrifice of Working Mothers in the Philippines. Ibig sabihin, parang naging normal na sa atin, no, na nakikita natin yung nanay natin na nagsasakripisyo para sa atin. No? At paano kaya ito naging problema sa ating society ngayon? So ito pong research na to ang ibabahagi ko po sa atin ngayon. Alright, so bago po tayo magsimula, meron akong mga hinanda dito, dalawang larawan lang naman. So yung una, meron tayong Palestinian mother dito, tapos super mom daw siya. No? 880 yung nag-react, no? Tapos karamihan likes and care, react. Dito naman sa kabila, no, sa right side, merong post yung ano ba 'to, super moms ba 'to 'no, sa Facebook. Ang sabi naman nila, yung maliligo ka lang naman sana pero yung ending nilinis mo na rin yung buong banyo. Tapos may, smiley face tsaka heart heart. Tas yan mga 5,000 yung nag-react. Ano po tingin natin dito 'no? So survey muna tayo sa crowd. Can you type in the chat box, how you feel 'no, or what your reaction is 'no, upon seeing these, images? No, of the super mom, quote unquote. Okay, ayan, thank you. So real talk daw, relate, relate, relate. Oo, hardworking and loving. Okay, very relate. Oo nga, marami kasi tayong mommies dito, no? Ako nga pala ay hindi mommy, no? Pero nakikiisa ako sa mga nanay. Okay, ayan, motherhood daw is self-sacrificing. Multitasking si mommy, hardworking siya and loving. Okay. Ano po ang, feeling niyo dito? Kung magre-react rin po kayo, heart po ba, sad ba, angry, or ano po kaya ang reaction natin? Is this a positive thing or puwede kaya siyang, problematic? Okay, so far puro parang positive 'no ang ating mga response 'no, na moms will do everything, they will go above and beyond. Mommies have super strength. Okay, may nagsabi, "It's not often a job that's appreciated." Okay, parang normal na kasi nanay, kaso minsan feeling parang may kulang. Okay, hero sila. Struggling, nakaka-frustrate kasi nawawala ang focus. Okay, problematic. Okay, heart, positive, care. Okay, merong naka-smile pero may pawis. Okay, superwoman. Okay, pagod na pero kinakaya. Oh, merong nag-sad react. Gagawin lahat para sa pamilya, fulfilled pero nakakapagod rin. Problematic daw siya, no? Since it's being normalized. Okay. Although it's nice, problematic rin para, sa isa nating participant kasi, nasaan daw ba si daddy? Okay, where are the men in our lives? Parenthood is a job for two. Okay, thank you po, 'no? Okay, heart daw pero also sad kasi no time for herself. Wala sa vocabulary daw ng mga nanay ang salitang pahinga. True na true. Okay. Feeling invalid. Okay, ayan. So, also seeing that, moms are always so tired. Okay, sige. So, thank you po. So, kita natin 'no na, on one hand, karamihan sa atin 'no na-appreciate naman yung nanay natin 'no na talagang parang super mom, ang raming ginagawa all at once 'no, nagju-juggle sila. But on the other hand, parang, nakikita natin na parang may problema na rin 'no, kasi bakit bakit kailangan silang magtrabaho ng gano'ng level, 'di ba? Na parang everyday is an emergency, sabi nga nung isa kong in-interview, 'no. So, today yun po yung titingnan natin 'no, paano nagiging problematic kaya 'tong idea ng bukal sa puso, 'no? Puwede kaya siyang maging abuso, 'no? Kasi tayo sa Pilipinas 'di ba meron tayong, um parang meron tayong utang na loob sa nanay natin kasi parang palagi nila from nasa tiyan pa lang nila tayo 'no, nasa loob pa lang, ano na tayo 'no, inaalagaan na tayo ng ating nanay. Tapos pagkalabas natin hanggang sa paglaki natin palaging nandoon si mama 'no, inaalagaan tayo, mini-make sure nila 'no na nakakakain tayo, nakakauwi tayo, happy tayo, kinakain tayo and everything. So parang tayo nagkakautang na loob na tayo sa nanay natin 'no. So itong pagmamahal nila, um, parang it's something that we're so used to 'no, and then parang we're always so, eternally grateful 'no to our moms for all the things that she's done for us 'no. Kasi nakikita natin 'no, on one hand na ganito nga yung itsura nila, itong sa left side 'no, yung nagtatrabaho pero ang rami ring iniisip na chores at the same time. Feeling ko marami sa atin nakaka-relate lalo na nung pandemic 'no, lahat tayo nasa bahay lang, kitang-kita natin si mommy 'no, na nagtatrabaho tapos during the breaks no, ay nagsasampay ng labada, no? Tapos pagkatapos ng trabaho magluluto naman, no? Tapos pagkakain ng pamilya maghuhugas ng pinggan. So itong pagmamahal ni mama, pwede kaya siyang maging abuso na kay mama, no? Yun yung in-explore, no, ng aking research. Posible bang maging human rights issue na to, no? Ibig sabihin hindi na ba nami-meet, no, ng society ang human rights, no, ng isang nanay, no? Hindi na ba siya natatrato bilang human sa ating society? So ang outline po ng webinar natin today or ng portion ko for the talk, no, would be firstly, ano ba yung sacrifice ng mother? No? Ano yung itsura ng pain na nararanasan ng isang nanay? And then secondly, ano yung joy? No? So kung may pain, habang ini-interview ko yung mga nanay, sabi nila, actually happy rin naman daw sila. No? So parang may mga nagsabi nga na, kami ba yung tamang informants dito? Kasi parang wala naman daw human rights abuse na nangyayari sa kanila. Kasi love naman nila yung anak talaga nila. No? Happy naman sila na maging nanay. Pero yun nga, talagang minsan napapagod sila, no? So, nasaan yung balance doon? So, today I'll try to illustrate a mother's pain, no? Ano ba yung mga sacrifices niya? And then on the other hand, ano ba yung joy ng nanay, no? And then combining those two, saan lulugar yung human rights ngayon? Alright, so let's start with a mother's sacrifice. Okay? Sorry, teka lang, i-move ko po ng onte kasi hindi ko masyadong nakikita ang ibang portions. Ayan, okay. So, a mother's sacrifice, firstly, yung sleep and leisure time nila. Okay, so sabi ng mga nanay na in-interview ko, nag-interview po pala ako ng around, I think, 6 mothers, no? And this was during pandemic, no? So, very limited yung nai-interview kong mga tao. Kalahati po ng mga in-interview ko or informants ko, in-interview ko lang through Zoom, no? So, yung iba naman ay mga kilala ko, no? So, sila ay mga teachers, no, na nagtatrabaho full-time sa high school and karamihan ng data nito, no, ay nanggaling sa kanila, pati na rin doon sa isang grupo na in-interview ko po through Zoom. Lahat ng in-interview ko ay nagtatrabaho and at the same time, may mga anak. Okay, so mga working mothers po sila. So unang-una, na lumitaw na sacrifice ng mga nanay ay yung sleep and leisure time nila. So karamihan nagsabi, they lack sleep, especially in the early months na inaalagaan nila yung baby nila. Yung group A or yung mga in-interview ko na face-to-face na mga teacher, ay sabi nila nagbe-breastfeed daw sila as early as 2, 3, or 4 AM. Tapos imaginein po natin, ng mga teacher 'to, so papasok sila sa school ng 7, ta's aalis sila ng school ng 4 o'clock, no? Tapos alam naman natin yung situation ng commute dito sa Pilipinas. Minsan sabi nila, 'pag nagbe-breastfeed daw sila, ang sakit na daw ng chest nila, 'no? Kasi parang sasabog na ang kanilang mga dede. Kasi sa commute, parang kung dapat 30 minutes ka lang nasa commute, pero minsan nagiging 1 oras, minsan nagiging 2 oras, ta's kailangan mo na mag-pump, 'no, ng dede, 'no? So yun, 'no, nagiging issue rin yun, yung commute natin. So, pero sige, balik tayo dito, 'no? Highlight muna natin yung sleep and leisure time, 'no, na para dun sa nasa group A, um, obvious na kulang yung tulog nila, 'no? Kasi kailangan gising na sila ng 2, 3, or 4 AM para mag-breastfeed, tapos papasok sila ng 7 AM para sa school, 'no? Para magturo at magtrabaho, 'no? Ang leisure time daw nila, nung tinanong ko, "So, paano kayo nag-ano, meron ba kayong time for hobbies, for leisure?" Ang sabi nila, para sa kanila leisure na daw ang 1 to 2 hours of sleep, 'no? Or ang 30-minute shower. Minsan pagod na sila, wala na silang time for hobbies or exercise, nag-o-online shopping na lang daw sila or online window shopping, 'no? Yun na lang ang kanilang leisure time. Okay, so walang time for any other hobbies, 'no? Magsabi rin nung isang nanay, "Tulog ka na pero nag-iisip ka pa rin." So for example, matutulog ka na lang pero iniisip mo pa rin na, "Ay, kailangan ko muna i-thaw yung milk na naka-freeze." Tapos bago ka matulog, iisipin mo rin kung ano yung gusto mong lutuin bukas para sa pamilya mo or yung kailangan mong lutuin bukas para sa pamilya mo. So minsan, parang yung sleep para sa kanila ay, um sagabal 'no, dun sa schedule nila 'no. Iniisip nila para siyang time marker na bago ako matulog kailangan gawin ko 'to, pagkagising ko ito yung kailangan kong gawin. So parang palaging may next step 'no, palaging may, kailangan gawin at sabi nga ng isang nanay na yun nga, parang nag-iisip ka pa rin kahit tulog ka na. Minsan daw parang meron siyang magic reflex 'no, na, kahit tulog na siya 'pag nalaman niyang gumugulong yung anak niya 'no, sa kama, yung kamay niya gumaganon 'no. So kahit kahit tulog na siya, alert pa rin siya, 'no? Para sa Group B naman, flexible yung work schedule nila, 'no? Hindi katulad nung mga full-time teachers natin. Karamihan sa Group B na in-interview ko through Zoom ay nagtatrabaho online, 'no? So, sabi nila mas marami silang time for their hobbies, except yung in-interview ko na may bagong panganak lang 'no, na baby. Um ang hobbies nila hindi daw, does not equate to alone time 'no. Actually nung tinanong ko kung ano yung hobbies nila, mas marami silang nasabi compared doon sa group A 'no. Ang sabi nilang hobbies daw nila ay, parang gumagawa ng miniature bags, yung iba naman nagyo-yoga, gardening, mga gano'ng bagay. So may mga hobbies 'tong group B at nagagawa nila yon. Ngunit nung tinanong ko ano yung alone time nila, hindi nila sinagot yung hobbies nila. Sabi nila, "Actually, kung gusto ko ng alone time, naglalaba ako." Yun daw yung alone time niya. So, kahit alone time pala ng nanay, 'di ba, chores pa rin, 'no? And, yun yung nahanap ko dito sa group B, 'no? So, ibig sabihin, hindi pala siguro hindi nila madalas nagagawa yung mga hobbies nila 'no, kasi nung tinanong ko how they spend their alone time in a day, ang sagot nila ay, chores pa rin 'no, so paglalaba. Okay, so all mothers, however, from Group A and Group B mentioned that they have a work-life balance daw. So yun rin yung isang peculiar doon, no, na mukhang sobrang busy yung mga nanay natin, wala na nga silang time for sleep and leisure, pero nung tinanong ko sila, meron naman daw silang work-life balance. Yun pala kasi they equate life with spending it with their children. No? At yung work naman ay yung career. Okay, so sabi nila as long as nagkakaroon ako ng oras, kunwari ng Saturday or ng Sunday na nakakasama ko yung, mga anak ko, 'no, yun na yung life for me, 'no. So, kitang-kita natin 'no, na para sa mga mothers, hindi nila naiisip talaga yung alone time 'no, na parang kunwari nung single tayo siguro 'no, naiisip natin na yung alone time is meditation in a corner of the house 'no, yung mag-isa ka lang talaga, tapos, wala kang iniisip, ikaw lang talaga, time lang yun for yourself. Walang gano'n na bring up yung mga nanay natin 'no, para sa kanila work-life balance means being able to work and at the same time being able to take care of your child, 'no. So yun yung work-life balance daw para sa kanila. So ibang-iba yung conception nila 'no, ng work-life balance sa isang non-mother, for example. And mas maraming nagsabi na may work-life balance sila from group B 'no, yung mga, nagtatrabaho sa bahay. Yung isa pang sacrifice ng mga nanay ay yung pagde-delay ng career 'no, and, na-bring up na 'to ni Elisha kanina doon sa statistic nga 'no ng LinkedIn. So earlier studies have found that motherhood duties delay one's personal, development. So kunwari yung pursue 'no ng, educational development like, graduate studies or PhD 'no, it is halted 'no, when one becomes a mother. No, sabi ng isang nanay na in-interview ko, feeling niya daw, um, mag-aaral naman daw siya ulit 'no. Karamihan pala ng in-interview ko kahit doon sa Zoom ay mga teacher rin 'no. So sabi nila, feeling nila, gusto naman nila 'no i-pursue ang further studies, kaya lang hindi pa nila kaya at the moment. Feeling nila gagawin nila 'pag medyo mas malaki na yung anak nila. So dine-delay nila 'no, habang, bata pa yung anak hindi pa nila kayang, mag-aral ng further studies, no? So only 2 informants currently are pursuing further studies out of the 6 that, I interviewed, no? One returned from a leave of absence, yung isa naman, drops classes when it's too toxic, saying she's not as competitive as she used to be anymore. So nung bata daw siya, mas idealistic siya, no? Gusto niya talagang mag-aral abroad, gusto niyang mag-climb ng career ladder, pero nung naging nanay na siya, hindi na siya naging as competitive, 'no. Okey na rin sa kanya yung magda-drop siya ng class 'pag hindi niya na kaya, which was something that she couldn't imagine herself doing before she became a mother. Second point, no, is also that they mentioned na or earlier studies mentioned that a mother's job performance is affected if they choose to continue to work in the office after giving birth. And nakita ko yon nung in-interview ko yung mga mothers kasi sabi nung isa, mas bumaba daw yung performance rating niya shortly after giving birth. Kasi ang sabi ng boss niya, parang hindi na daw siya as efficient, no? Nung pagkabalik niya to, no, after ng maternity leave, no? Hindi daw siya as efficient, ang rami niyang absent, no? Mga ganong bagay, ang rami niyang leave, no? And dahil doon, bumaba yung performance rating niya, no? So, maraming mga nanay na pag bumabalik sa work, medyo siyempre, hati na 'no, yung attention nila. So, may mga iba na boss na hindi siguro sobrang, empathetic pa 'no, sa situation ng mother na tinitingnan lang yung, performance sa work 'no, at nakikita nilang nagbago yon. So, it affects 'no, their performance rating at the end of the year 'no. And, yung dalawa kong informants actually went on a career break. So, um hindi muna sila nagtrabaho 'no, right after, giving birth 'no, even after the maternity leave. So sabi nung isa 'no, mahirap daw kasi 'pag nagpapadede ka tapos ang rami mo pang iisiping trabaho. So it's so hard while you're breastfeeding and thinking about work 'no. So ang rami na daw masyadong iniisip kaya hindi na muna sila, nagtrabaho immediately 'no, after giving birth. Um they have to delay 'no, their careers 'no, and their studies. Okay, and, isa pang mother sacrifice is giving the body 'no. Ano 'tong giving the body? Nung tinanong ko yung mga nanay, kung if you will point na at the busiest part of your body, what would it be? Tapos sabi nila yung hands daw, 'no, yung iba naman nag-point sa ulo nila, kakaisip daw. Yung iba naman tinuro yung dede nila 'no, yun daw yung pinaka-busy 'no. And so parang ito na yung parang very overworked, parts of the body 'no. So yung laging, yung head nga daw laging nag-iisip, yung hands laging may ginagawa. Yung breasts 'no, na-observe ko 'to dun sa mga colleagues ko sa school, um, laging nagpa-pump 'no, 'pag wala sa classroom habang nasa faculty nagpa-pump 'no, ta's magtuturo ulit, pagbalik magpa-pump 'no. So, laging, nagpa-pump 'no, tapos pagkauwi rin daw magpapadede kay baby, habang tulog si baby magpa-pump ulit 'no, ta's ilalagay sa freezer para merong gatas 'no, the next day si baby habang nasa trabaho si mommy. So, sobrang busy daw yung breasts 'no, ng nanay. So, isang nakita ko dito is that bodily changes continue, no, with the overwork that comes with the duties, both biologically and socially ascribed to motherhood. It keeps the brain, the hands, and the breast busy at all times. So, siguro common idea na naman sa atin lahat, no, na umiiba yung katawan ni mommy pagka panganak, no, because of pregnancy and because of childbirth. But I'd like to argue na even actually after childbirth, because of the biological and social duties ascribed to being a mother, umiiba pa rin yung katawan, no? So it continues to change, no? Because of the tasks of motherhood. So, for example, um, sabi ng isang informant, mahirap daw kasi, physically and mentally kulang talaga yung 24 hours, 'no. So, mental and physical work doesn't end. Yung schedule daw ng isang newborn like I mentioned 'no, is yun nga puro breastfeeding 'no, bago matulog, pagkagising, habang nasa trabaho 'no. And, ito na yung bodily changes 'no, na nakikita natin because of motherhood 'no. Even after pregnancy and childbirth, the body continues to change. Para dun sa isang informant, um dahil sa kaka-breastfeed niya, sumakit rin daw yung likod niya, 'no? Yung mga nanay dito 'no, na-experience niyo rin po ba yun 'no? Pagka-breastfeed 'no, dahil sa kaka-breastfeed 'no, sumasakit daw yung likod, minsan nangangawit rin 'no, nagkaka-arm pains 'no. So, pansin nga daw niya tsaka nung napansin nung kapatid niya 'no, na parang nag-change daw yung posture niya, habang, pagkatapos manganak 'no, habang sa pagbe-breastfeed 'no, habang nagbe-breastfeed 'no, umiba umiba na daw yung posture 'no, nung mother. ibang-iba na daw yung dede 'no, yung isa 'no, sabi niya, ibang-iba na daw yung dede niya ngayon 'no, na na naging isang nanay siya 'no. Ta's para naman dun sa isang informant, nagka-hypertension siya, ever since, nag-give birth siya. Para naman doon sa karamihan ng mga nanay na in-interview ko, they mentioned having headaches, back pain, sore hands, sadness, and even fatigue. 'No. So ito yung mga bodily changes 'no, na na-experience ng mga nanay while they are mothering 'no. So dahil laging nag-iisip, parang nagka-headache. Siguro dahil rin sa lack of sleep 'no, dahil sa pagbe-breastfeed nagka-back pain, dahil sa kakagawa ng chores 'no, that really needs your hands like, um cleaning the CR, washing dishes, yung paglalaba, pagsasampay, lahat yan kailangan ng kamay. So, yung mga nanay, sabi nila sore hands daw ang na-experience nila. Merong isang nanay na nagka-tendonitis ba yun? Yung nagka-problema siya 'no, sa kamay niya dahil sa kaka-pump 'no, nung manual yung pang-pump niya ng, kaniyang breast milk. Yung iba naman nakakaramdam ng sadness and fatigue. So mas makikita natin 'yan dito sa second portion, 'no, yung giving the self, 'no. So isang sacrifice rin ng mga nanay is yung pagbibigay ng kanilang buong sarili, 'no. So ano ba 'to 'no, sabi nila 'pag nagbe-breastfeed ka daw kasi, yung katawan mo hindi na sa'yo. 'No? So, your body isn't yours, 'no? So, yun yung mga nararamdaman ng mga nanay 'no, na parang, yung katawan mo 'pag nanay ka na, hindi na siya sa'yo, sa anak mo na siya 'no. 'Di ba 'pag nagde-demand breastfeeding ka 'no, hindi mo naman masasabi sa anak mo na, "Anak, huwag ka munang dumede, masakit na yung dede ni mama." 'Di ba? Parang ano, kung umiiyak na yung bata, kailangan niya na kumain, yung body mo is, given to the child. 'No? And, in fact sabi nung mga nanay, dun sa, in-interview ko na group A, they call themselves mama cows 'no. So parang na-dehumanize na sila, hindi na sila tao kundi isa silang, milk producing machine 'no. Mama cows ang tawag nila sa sarili nila 'no. They always pump milk 'no, they always breastfeed 'no, yung breast nila pagod na daw 'no. Para silang baka 'no, kaysa isang tao. 'No? So, parang nawawala na yung sense of self nila, 'no? And yun 'no, yun yung actually highlight nung third bullet 'no, yung lack of self-worth, 'no? Sabi nung mga in-interview ko, they felt like they lost their self-worth. Um, May mga ibang nagtatanong, "Is this all there is to my life?" Yung iba naman, um sinabi rin na, well, 'pag nanay ka kasi 'di ba, hindi lang yung duties mo para sa anak mo, pero meron ring duties ikaw as a wife, 'no. So sabi niya, um ayan pa 'di ba, 'pag nanay ka may isa ka pang trabaho 'no. Hindi ka lang naman nanay, asawa ka din. Kahit pagod ka na kailangan mong pagbigyan yung asawa mo. Kasi nung portion na 'to ng interview 'no, yung pinag-uusapan na nga namin yung katawan 'no, kung ano yung pinakapagod sa kanilang katawan, ano yung pinaka-busy, tapos na-bring up na yung ano, mama cows, ganyan, yung breastfeeding. Biglang umiyak yung isang informant 'no, na napaiyak na siya. Siguro dahil sa pagod 'no, ito yung nanay na may dalawa ng anak at may newborn rin 'no, yun nga nakuwento niya na kahit sobrang pagod na siya dahil pag-uwi niya sa bahay ay kailangan niyang, alagaan yung dalawa niyang anak, kailangan niyang, ayusin yung bahay, linisin yung bahay. Meron rin siyang asawa na siyempre may parang mga demands rin 'no, sa kanya as a wife 'no, at yun, parang pagod na rin daw siya 'no. Ayun, so pinoint out nung isa naming kasama na yun nga parang, hindi lang kasi yung anak mo yung inaalagaan mo, pero minsan kahit yung asawa mo parang, may mga demands rin sa'yo 'no. So it adds to the giving of the self 'no, ng mga nanay. So, all in all 'no, nakita natin yung sacrifice ng mga nanay 'no, yung giving of the body, giving of the self, pagde-delay ng careers yung pagka wala ng leisure time, pagka wala ng sleeping time, no? So parang pagod na pagod yung nanay natin, no? Bigay ng bigay palagi, no? And ano yung ginagawa ngayon ng society, no? All the while, no, we looked at the image of the mother. Ngayon, tingnan natin yung mga sarili natin, no? Yung mga hindi nanay, no? Ano yung role natin, tsaka ano yung ginagawa natin? Yung argument ko is that now looking at those who are not mothers, no, it seems like the idea of the super mom, no, is dehumanizing mothers and normalizing or even glorifying their sacrifice. Kasi 'di ba, kitang-kita naman natin sa mga commercials, no, dishwashing commercials, 'di ba? Commercial ng Tide, Ariel, or yung mga whatever na panglaba, no? Yung mga commercials on mga cleaning agents, no? And kitang-kita natin sa mga billboards, sa mga Mother's Day cards, no? Talagang acknowledge, no, ng society na magaling si mama, no? At ang rami niyang kayang gawin, 'di ba? Mother knows best nga daw, no? At yun nga, boss si mama sa bahay. Sila ang tahanan, no? Or ilaw ng tahanan, rather. No? Sila ang manager ng household. Isa silang super mom, no? And tuwing Mother's Day, no, we do say thank you to them, no, for all their hard work, no? Pero on the other hand, no, ang argument ko parang coping mechanism na lang natin yun, no, to be proud of our mommies and to commend them for all their hard work, no? Parang tinanggap na lang natin, no, na nanay ka, ang dami mong ginagawa, so thank you, no, for all your hard work. Kaysa i-question natin, no, na tama pa ba 'to or meron na bang mga nalalabag na human rights dito, no? Kaysa i-question natin siya, no, medyo mas ina-acknowledge na lang natin siya at tinatanggap natin siya at nagte-thank you na lang tayo kay mommy para sa lahat ng ginagawa nila, no? Pero actually para sa mga nanay, katulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, every day is an emergency, no? Can we imagine that kind of life na every minute that we exist, no? We feel like it's an emergency, no? Na may hindi pa nga tapos yung ginagawa mo, iniisip mo na yung susunod mong gagawin, no? Para sa mga nanay, every day is an emergency because they don't only have productive roles or yung trabaho na kailangan nila gawin sa bahay, ay rather sa careers nila, no, yung paid work nila. It's not only what they have, no, but they also are burdened with the reproductive role, no, which is yung care work, no, or yung pag-aalaga sa mga anak, yung pag-e-ensure na malinis yung bahay, and even yung pag-aalaga sa husband, no? So, lahat 'to ay nakatoka sa nanay. So, meron silang tinatawag na second shift, no, or double burden, no? Kasi dalawa yung iniisip nila, no? Pagka-uwi from a 9 to 5 job, no, kailangan nilang magtrabaho sa bahay, maglinis, magluto, et cetera, no? Tapos sabi nga nung isa kong tita, no, nagho-hostess ka pa sa gabi, no, 'pag may asawa ka. So, parang ano yan, nasaan na yung tulog mo, 'di ba, as a mother, no? So, um, ayun at tayo naman, 'no, bilang non-mothers, yun nga, 'no, nagte-thank you tayo, saludo tayo sa galing nila, pero, minsan, 'no, nagiging individual struggle tuloy, 'no, yung, mga karanasan ng mga nanay, 'no? Minsan nakakarinig tayo ng mga comments, 'di ba, na, pinili mo kasi 'yan na ginusto mo namang magkaanak, 'di ba? Ginusto mo namang magtrabaho habang may anak ka. So, kung nahihirapan ka na, kasalanan mo 'yan, 'di ba? Pumili ka, gusto mo ba magtrabaho o gusto mo ba maging nanay? So, yung mga gano'ng comments na 'yon, 'no, nakikita natin na um, we're we're ascribing, no, the issue, no, of motherhood as parang we're looking at the issue of motherhood as an individual struggle, no, na parang nagiging kasalanan tuloy ng individual, no, na um, pinili mo kasi yan, ginusto mo kasi yan, ngayon nahihirapan ka, pumili ka na lang ng isa, no? So, kaysa matulungan yung nanay, no, pinapapili pa sila usually ng society, 'di ba? Siguro ito nakita ko 'to sa workplace, no, sa mga everyday conversations with mothers and even non-mothers alike, no, yung mga dalaga, no, pagkausap ko sila, sinasabi nila na ayaw na lang nila maging nanay kasi nga mas gusto nilang mag-career, no. So tama ba yun? No? Is that justified, no, that women should choose between being a mother or pursuing their careers? No? And is it just that it's an individual struggle? No? It becomes the problem of the individual and something that the individual has to solve on her own. No? Um, para sa akin, very problematic to, no? Na maraming ginagawa yung nanay natin, overwork na sila, ang rami nilang sacrifice. And on the other hand, yung mga tao nagte-thank you lang sa kanila imbes na makita yon, no, yung situation ng mga nanay as a problem that we have to face as a society. Not only a problem, no, that that individual or the mother has to face alone, no? So, para sa akin, it should be seen as a violation of human rights, no? Kasi ang nanay naman, hindi siya robot, no, na kaya lang gawin lahat 'yan, no? Pero napapagod rin sila sa totoo lang, 'di ba? Merong, dini-delay nila yung careers nila para sa family, hindi na sila natutulog, hindi na sila wala na silang leisure time, um kung meron man parang sa Mother's Day lang, dun lang sila pinapamper pero after that, 'di ba, wala na sila ulit 'no, leisure time, wala na silang tulog, bigay sila ng bigay palagi ng katawan nila 'no, at ng self nila. So, para sa akin parang hindi siya problema lang na dapat harapin ng nanay, pero dapat as a society nakikita natin siya as a human rights violation already. Kasi itong nanay hindi na siya natatrato bilang isang tao, bilang isang human. 'No, at mamaya ililista natin 'no, yung mga human rights na, parang nafo-foresee natin 'no, dito sa, experience ng mothers. Now, yung argument ko is yung sagot sa kalagayan ng mga nanay ay hindi naman pahintuin sila 'no, sa pagtatrabaho. Kasi nung tinanong ko kung ano ba yung actually hindi ko nga tinanong, eh, sila na rin mismo yung nagsabi na actually, hindi naman sila, they don't regret having children. Para sa kanila, yun yung actually pinaka-happy 'no. Tanggalin mo na lahat 'no, pero yung pagiging nanay, yung pagkakaroon ng anak 'no, it's something that brings them joy. It's not something that you can take away from them 'no. So kung pipili sila kunwari, dalaga ulit sila, kung papapiliin sila 'no, kung mas gusto ba nilang hindi na lang sana nagkaanak or hindi na lang sana nag-asawa, ang sagot nila, hindi naman 'no. Para sa kanila, mothering is the best part, but the process isn't easy. Motherhood is a transformative process, no? Nung naging nanay sila, everything became clear. Motherhood is a joy that you wouldn't get anywhere else, no? At sa trabaho naman, no? Um, ayaw rin naman nila bitawan yung trabaho nila. Oo, nakakapagod, pero sabi nila, I like working, no? Sabi nung isang informant, um, feeling nila puwede silang mag-quit 'no, kasi mababa rin naman daw yung kita nila doon sa trabaho nila. Pero ayaw pa rin nilang bitawan yung trabaho nila kahit mas mababa yung sahod nila compared kay husband kasi, um I can't accept not doing anything daw and just staying at home. I don't want to do it. Sabi naman nung isa, 'pag binitawan niya yung trabaho niya, I'll get depressed. Para naman doon sa isa, ayaw niya naman daw maging financially dependent kay husband. So it seems like if we focus on the lives of the mothers, no, hindi lang naman sila puro sacrifice, hindi lang naman puro sadness, hindi lang naman puro pain, pero may mga pinanghahawakan rin silang mga joy. No? And yun yung mothering, at yun yung pagiging nanay at yun yung pagtatrabaho. So, balik tayo dito sa isang slide kung saan, usually ang sinasabi sa kanila, kung nahihirapan ka, edi wag ka na lang mag-anak, no, ng pangalawa o ng pangatlo. Or kung nahihirapan ka, edi mag-quit ka muna ng trabaho mo, bayaan mo na lang si husband magtrabaho. No, yung mga ganong suggestions ay hindi nakakatulong para sa nanay. No? Kasi um, hindi yun yung magbibigay ng solusyon sa problema nila, 'di ba? Kasi yun nga yung nagbibigay na lang ng ligaya sa kanila, bakit mo pa ipagkakait sa kanila? So, ano yung sagot, 'di ba? Ano yung, ano yung sagot para sa mga nanay? Ano yung pwede nating gawin para ma-lessen 'no, yung burden ng mga nanay? Ang, lumitaw na mga themes doon sa interviews ko with, the mothers is that, um, they need responsible and supportive partners, 'no? So, kanina may nagsabi, sa chat box 'di ba, "Nasaan si daddy?" 'No, sa lahat ng ito, 'no? Yun yung actually argument 'no ng mga, um one branch 'no of feminists 'no na, importante na yung care work sa bahay ay hindi lang nakatoka kay mommy 'no. Dapat, si daddy 'no, nandoon rin para tumulong sa bahay 'no. Nung in-interview ng other earlier studies 'no, ang ibang mga nanay na merong supportive partner, they saw that it brings about satisfaction and less anxiety on the part of the mother 'no. So, magandang may equal share sa chores, sa care work, 'no? Ibig sabihin si daddy dapat, dapat marunong rin siya maglinis, marunong rin siya maghugas ng pinggan, maglinis ng kubeta, 'no, yung mga gano'ng bagay, magpalit ng diaper ni baby, 'no? Dapat, responsible si partner, naiintindihan niya yung situation ni mommy, 'no, at supportive siya, kay mommy, 'no? Hindi lang dapat, nakatoka kay mommy lahat. And this is not impossible, 'di ba? Maraming societies around the world that are usually outside the um, normal imagination no, of everyday human beings na actually iba um, yung level of support no ng husband, no? Kunwari sa mga ano to sa mga anong grupo sila? Doon sa North 'no, yung mga Bontoc for example 'no, sa bandang Cordillera 'no, yung mga kalalakihan doon, yung mga fathers 'no, 'pag una silang umuwi 'no, sila na yung nagluluto, sila na yung naglilinis, sila na yung nagsasampay nung labahan nung labada 'no, sila na yung, naghuhugas ng pinggan 'no, para pag-uwi ni mommy 'no, kakain na lang si mommy 'no. So kung sino yung unang makauwi 'no, parehong parehong may alam 'no, kung ano yung gagawin sa bahay 'no. So, 'di ba hindi siya impossible 'no, possible siya 'no, na yung mga lalaki ay maging partner natin 'no, sa care work. Okay and, um sorry, bago ako pumunta dun sa second bullet point, kadalasan rin kasi 'no, itong responsible and supportive partner, gusto kong i-emphasize na sa partner siya 'no, kasi minsan si mommy yung nagiging kakampi niya or nagiging katulong niya sa bahay ay yung, mga daughters niya 'no, yung mga anak niyang babae 'no. At, maraming research rin na yun nga yung nakikita 'no, na imbes ng, ibigay kay daddy ang tasks 'no, oo, imbes na ibigay kay daddy yung task 'no, ang binibigay yung task doon sa mga anak na babae 'no. Habang naglalabas si mommy, yung mga anak na babae naghahain 'no ng mesa 'no, or nagwawalis 'no. So, very important na dapat yung mga lalaki rin 'no, tao rin naman sila, may mga kamay rin sila 'di ba, kaya rin dapat nilang, mag-alaga 'no ng mga tao sa bahay 'no. And next is responsible and supportive work environment, 'no? Ito na siguro yung, very important for some of us here 'no, ano ba yung puwedeng magawa ng work environment? So, yung mga earlier studies and also yung mga na-interview ko, ang sabi nila parang mas magiging magaan ang mga bagay-bagay kung may option for remote work, for example. In other countries like I think that's in Canada or, something 'no, some other country 'no in the West, yung mga, tao doon merong flexible schedule 'no, and some of the work there 'no, offers flexible schedule 'no, may option for remote work, puwede silang mag-stay at home, mag-work at home 'no, yung iba flexible 'no, basta natapos na yung trabaho puwede nang umuwi, hindi nagka-clock in and clock out 'no, from 9 to 5. Um maganda rin sana kung merong facilities in the work environment na talagang para kay mommy, no? Like a lactation room or a daycare center. Actually, karamihan naman sa mental load, no, ng mga nanay ay yung kung paano ba aalagaan yung anak nila habang wala sila. 'Di ba naririnig natin sa mga nanay natin yung, sana na lang nahihiwalay ko yung katawan ko, 'di ba? Kung puwede na lang chop-chopin ko yung katawan ko para nasa bahay ako habang nasa trabaho ako. 'Di ba? Um, and, rather than, have that violent imaginary, figure 'no, baka puwedeng, um, magka-daycare center 'no, sa workplace 'no, para hindi na kailangan isipin pa ni mommy kung paano alagaan yung baby. Like, may informant na nagsabi na for example sa Japan 'no, meron daycare center na, um subsidized by the state 'no or by the government 'no. So, maganda kung yung mga office natin for example merong daycare center tapos puwedeng iwanan mo na do'n si baby habang nagtatrabaho si mommy para hindi niya na kailangan isipin pa yung, care work 'no, na kailangan niya gawin for the baby habang wala siya 'no. Hindi niya rin kailangan pang mag-allot 'no ng portion ng salary niya para may mag-alaga sa baby niya, 'no, yung mga gano'ng bagay. And also lastly, responsible and supportive community and state, 'no. So, um, maganda kung mabigyan natin ng subsidy ang mga nanay 'no, for the care work 'no, for the labor that they do at home 'no. So, maraming mga, um nagme-mention nito 'no, ng mga mothers na in-interview ko 'no, na mawawala yung mga problema nila kung nanalo lang sila sa lotto 'no. Yung services daw rin 'no, na sana puwedeng mabigay ng gobyerno like yun nga mga facility, therapy, counseling, seminars or support groups para malaman rin ng mga ibang tao yung kalagayan ng mga nanay at kung paano silang puwedeng, masuportahan. 'No. So, ito yung, mga iilan 'no, sa mga themes 'no, na nag-emerge 'no, na, magandang mabigay natin sa mga nanay. And ito yung mga human rights nga 'no, na, nakalista doon sa Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948 'no, na, mga human rights dapat ibig sabihin lahat ng mga tao 'no, nanay or hindi, kahit anong pakasarian mo, kahit anong edad mo, dapat, na-e-experience natin 'to no. And para sa akin 'pag naging isa kang nanay, parang hindi sobrang nafo-fulfill yung iilan dito sa mga UDHR katulad nung, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms without distinction of any kind such as sex, no? Everyone has the right to life, liberty, security of person, um, meron ring, dignity and free development of personality, has the right to rest and leisure, including reasonable limitation of working hours and periodic holidays with pay, 'no? So, ito yung mga iilan sa mga human rights na 'di ba kung basahin natin parang, teka lang, parang mas na enjoy yan ni daddy 'no, kaysa kay mommy 'no. For example, yung right to rest and leisure 'no, meron bang ganyan si mommy 'no? So, siguro, so that we can attain that for our mothers 'no, yun nga kailangan natin 'tong mga 'to 'di ba, responsible and supportive partner, responsible and supportive work environment, responsible and supportive community and state. So ang ending note lang naman natin dito is, 'pag nakikita natin si mama 'no, dapat makita natin siya bilang tao 'no, and once makita natin siya bilang tao instead of a superhuman 'no, or a super mom 'no, nakita natin siya as a human first 'no, makikita natin na marami palang pagkukulang 'no, na kailangan mabigay rin natin sa mga nanay 'no, sa ating community, sa ating society. So, doon lang naman po nagtatapos ang aking, talk. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Ileana. And I hope you're seeing in the chat that we have so many people who they can relate, or even if they can't relate, they're very engaged and have a lot of thoughts. So thank you so much. I think it shows that your research really hits the spot for a lot of people. So while we are waiting for people to put their own questions in the chat, I do have some questions for you to get our discussion going. So Eliana, you kind of touched on this in terms of what we can do in the place, but maybe we can be more specific there. So if we look at the work setting, what do you think are some actions that employers can do? So for example, tingnan muna natin yung managers and the leaders. Ano yung mga pwedeng gawin ng managers and the leaders kung may mga working moms sila sa team nila?
Yeah, yun, yung first is to be empathetic, no, to the working mother. Like for example, yun nga may isang informant na actually yung anak niya kasi may cleft palate, no. So talagang busy siya palagi. Palagi siya nag-worry about the child. Palagi siyang pumupunta sa hospital for the child. So as a boss, no, siguro parang magandang intindihin natin yung kalagayan na yun, na if merong problems man with the performance of the mother, no, kailangan isipin na kasi meron siyang pinoproblema rin, no? At ano ba ang mas mahalaga dapat doon, no? And siguro try to become a partner, no, more than like just a boss, no, who is on top, no, of the employee, parang gano'n, no? Dapat more like a partner, ano ba yung pwedeng mabigay na tulong, no, ng community of employees, no, doon sa nanay, no, para masuportahan siya. Secondly, maganda rin na pakinggan yung mga kailangan ng mga mothers, like for example, ano ba yung mga spaces, no, that we can build for mothers to be able to, really focus on their work, 'di ba? Kasi yung iba hati yung utak nila, kasi iniisip rin nila yung care work aside from the work career, aside from their career lang, no? So baka puwedeng mag-build tayo ng space to lessen the burden of mothers, like yun nga, daycare center in the office, no, or a decent lactation room, for example, would also help the mothers.
Mhm. Yeah, siguro ako dagdagan ko lang. One of the things from an HR perspective that we can talk about is giving parental leaves. So take note, hindi lang maternity leave, but also giving leaves for fathers. Kasi
Mm.
yung nakikita natin is a lot of fathers, especially nowadays, they actually want to help. Like guys, men are more willing nowadays to actually be there and take care of their kids. And gusto nila. Pero hindi sila nabibigyan ng leaves kasi nga maternity leave lang ang meron. So in a lot of companies that are being more progressive, they are giving paternity leaves as well. So parental leave, yung umbrella term na tinatawag natin. And ang na-notice ko, because in Microsoft, we had that. We had paternal leaves. I had a colleague na, so tatay siya at kakapanganak lang nung asawa niya. He took the leave. He was gone for, I think, almost a month. And sabi niya, like, that was the best decision he has ever made in his life. Yung hindi na siya naiinggit na yung asawa lang niya yung nakakakita nung first steps of the baby, or yung sinong unang tatawagin, si mama o si papa. Yung tuwan-tuwa siya na nandun siya with the mother to see those first. So I think very important. Another thing is, what kind of onboarding program can you have for mothers who are coming back from leave? So, 'di ba, usually onboarding, we think of it as for new employees. They need it to get acclimated in the workplace. But ang alam natin from the studies are, pag nagma-maternity leave ang isang employee, actually, pagbalik niya, pwedeng ang daming nagbago in the workplace. And so to help them adapt again to that kind of life, we have to give them some sort of onboarding. Sometimes we call it inboarding. So IN boarding, because they're already part of the company, but you're giving them resources to rejoin the company that they left before they went on leave. So maybe that's something to think about. Ileana, let's go naman to yung colleagues. So if you're not a leader or a manager, what are some of your suggestions for actions that we can do?
Um, Minsan, actually, ang kailangan lang nila talaga is a listening ear. Meron ako nakita dito na meron kayang mga, moms diyan 'no na nakaka-experience ng violence at home. Actually, 1 in every 3 I think 'no na women daw will be able to experience, violence 'no or domestic violence, and that's around 1 billion. Kaya meron tayong movement ngayon na 1 billion rising 'no. So, around 1 billion around the world 'no na women will be able to experience no violence against women, so violence because of their gender. And for me, um importanteng makinig tayo, no? Usually these women already feel helpless, powerless at home, no? So importanteng makinig tayo sa experience nila, no? Sometimes they just need someone to listen to them, not really someone who will give them advice, no? Kasi um minsan hindi naman yun yung hinihingi nila, eh. So when we impose solutions 'no, minsan it also rids them 'no, of the power 'no, to decide for themselves 'no. So, important to listen as colleagues, as friends. Also, important 'no, to build empathy 'no, so that we can support them. Yun nga, yung parang 'pag kunwari may mother na, yung inboarding na sinasabi ni Elijah, 'di ba? Parang hindi siya something na dapat gagawin lang ng boss or ng, company, pero dapat yung colleagues ay supportive rin dun sa mother 'no, sa pag-i-inboard niya ulit 'no, and, yun sa struggles niya as a mother. Important na, hindi sila makaka-experience rin ng discrimination 'no, kunwari, may mga siyempre may mga changes 'no, in the body, may changes in how they work 'no, in what they prioritize now, and it's important na hindi natin sila i-shame 'no, para dun sa mga changes na yun or dahil dun sa mga changes na yun.
Yeah, very true, no? Because I think it's quite common in our culture to comment about bodies and like how we look physically. So that might be something we can think about more. Another thing I want to add is sometimes we can ask our colleagues kung ano ba yung working times that work well for them. So for example, I had a colleague before na siya kasi yung nagsusundo sa mga anak niya. So yung arrangement nila is si daddy yung magdadala sa school, tapos si mommy naman yung magsusundo sa hapon. Kaya when I have meetings with her, the arrangement is always it has to be before 2:30 p.m. or after 3:30 p.m. So then I know, 'di ba, na from 2:30 to 3:30 dahil magsusundo siya sa school, ako maglalagay ng meeting. So having those kinds of norms and conversations, I think even if it's not a work policy, even if it's not a rule in the team, it can already help take out the burden from that one person. So simple things like that, pag napapag-usapan, makakahanap kayo ng solusyon to help each other. And because of that, hindi lang siya yung nagbe-benefit. Because even me, as a single person who does not have a husband or kids, I'm able to tell her, di ba, na I told her, colleague, actually, I have voice lessons every Thursday 4 p.m. So don't schedule meetings with me. And para sa kanya, okay yun, di ba? May arrangement kaming ganun. So I think with these, we have to remember, it doesn't just help the working mothers, it also helps create a great environment for everyone in the team.
Yeah,
Ileana,
actually
oo,
ay
go
sorry.
ahead. Yeah.
If I may add nga, yun nga important na makita natin yung isa't isa as humans, 'di ba? Na not just as working machines, no? We're not,
Mhm.
just there to work, but we are also human. So, minsan kasi sinasabi sa atin, 'di ba, na 'pag professional, ibig sabihin you leave everything that happened in the household behind and just focus on your work here, no? But as humans, hindi tayo gano'n, no? Talagang
Mhm.
our lives are everywhere all at once. So parang important rin that we acknowledge that, no, that our colleagues are also human, no, they have other priorities, no, they have other things that they are doing, no, also for their well-being. So we have to acknowledge that and respect that, and not take it against them, no, if they'd like to put it in their schedule and reserve it for themselves, no? So yung time na yun for themselves.
Yeah. So I'm just reading in the comments. So yes, we forgot to mention there is a rule about paternity leaves. 7 days. Yeah, 7 days. Tama. The chat said. But I always like to remind people this: the laws that we have, that's just the floor. So in compliance lang yun. If you have 7 days of leave, if you have 7 days of paternal leave in your offices, that's great. But I would encourage companies to think about, hindi lang naman 7 days ang kailangan ng isang parent, di ba? And so maybe to differentiate your companies from other companies, you could increase that. Actually, that's what a lot of tech companies around the world, that's what they're doing. To be competitively advantageous against their competitors, they increase the number of leaves. So that might be something you can think about also to make your company more desirable. So technique din siya, strategy din siya. I don't see a question yet, Ileana, so I'll ask my next question. So, napapag-usapan natin working moms, di ba? Paano naman yung working fathers? Shouldn't we think of their needs as well? Like, what's your opinion on, may mga iba kasing nagsasabi na, hindi ba parang ang dami na rin naman nating ginagawa for working moms? Paano naman yung iba? Like, fair ba yun na puro mothers na lang at kababaihan?
Yeah, actually siguro in relation to this, yun nga, gusto ko lang rin balikan yung paternity leave na meron nga tayong paternity leave and it sounds all good, pero 'di ba kung i-compare natin kung gaano ka-ekse or kahaba ang paternity leave compared to maternity leave, parang may sinasabi pa rin tayong subtext doon eh na dahil mas mahaba yung maternity leave, parang sinasabi natin na mas responsibility talaga ni mommy, no, na alagaan si infant, no, at si daddy nandun lang for 7 days for support, no. So parang imbes na maging shared talaga, no, ang responsibility, equally shared, no, mas nakikita natin na based on the law, no, mukhang mas priority pa rin, no, ng nanay dapat, no, ang care work kaysa si daddy, no. And so yun nga, no, jumping off from that, nakikita natin na in our society today, oo, marami na rin namang dads, no, na mas nagiging bukas ang isip, no, na mas gumagawa ng care work kaysa compared to before. But then, no, if we look at the numbers, no, mas marami pa ring mga nanay talaga, no, na nakaka-experience nung pinag-uusapan natin ngayon, no, na um, disproportionately, no, yung care work still falls, no, on the woman rather than the man. No? So although yes, may mga tatay naman out there, no, na very feminist ang orientation, tinutulungan si mommy, no, sa bahay, kulang pa rin, no? Kasi if we look, like from a bird's eye view, mas marami pa ring babae talaga ang binibigyan ng responsibility for care work.
Yeah, yeah. I think my comment in the chat, Ileana, that is good to point out. Meron ding mga solo parent na tatay. So may mga tatay na very, very involved in care work. But to the point of the person in the chat, thank you for bringing that up. Hindi siya masyadong napapag-usapan, 'di ba? Even in
Yeah.
the workplace, there are studies about this na mas tinatanong ang mga babae about how they raise their children and balance family time versus work kaysa sa mga lalaki. So one
Yeah.
of the things that we can actually do and advocate for is, let's encourage the men in the office to also talk about their family lives. So kung tinatanong natin yung mga babaeng leaders, 'di ba, na how do you balance work and raising kids? We have to ask men the same thing. How do you balance work and raising your kids? Kasi sila rin naman, baka may gusto silang i-share. And we're normalizing na sila din kaya at dapat tumutulong.
Yeah, totoo. Actually, if anything, 'di ba, it also highlights how we look at care work, 'di ba? Kung hindi siya something na pinapag-usapan in a male-dominated space, no, or if it's something that we don't prioritize, like yun nga, wala siya sa schedule. I mean, congratulations sa'yo, 'di ba, na yung kasama mo sa work ay sinabi na bawal siya from 3 to 4 kasi sinusundo niya yung ano. Marami sa atin kasi na care work isn't so much prioritized or isn't something that we look at as equal with, our career or our paid work, no? So, siguro, aside from, it being a woman's task or a man's task, kailangan rin natin tingnan yung care work itself and how much society values it, no? Kasi the fact that it's something done every day and yet it's something unpaid, no, or taken for granted, no, whether a man does it or a woman does it, parang it's something that we have to reevaluate, no, the value of care work.
Exactly. I forgot the name of the study, but I'll post it on our page if I find it. So I think it was from indeed.com. They kind of computed kung ano ba dapat ang sweldo ng isang tao na gumagawa ng care work. And they tried to compute it using averages of other similar jobs. What they found was yung kalabasan ng study, ang dapat sweldo ng isang tao na gumagawa ng care work ay equal sa sweldo ng mga CEO ng mga tech company. So imagine nyo, di ba? Ganun kalaki dapat ang sinisweldo ng isang nanay o tatay na gumagawa ng household work at caregiving duties. But society, we don't pay them that much or even respect them that much. So that's something very important to think about. So everyone, if you have a pahabol question, we'll do it later on at the end. But for now, let's start wrapping up our webinar. What are some of the things that you will make sure to remember from today's session? So please type that in the chat, one word or one phrase. What is that one thing that you will make sure to remember from today? So let's see, type natin yan sa chat. And then while we're waiting, maybe Ileana, any final messages for our participants here?
Siguro ano lang, yung last slide ko 'no, na, we have to ensure that we see one another as humans 'no. Parang, mother or father or colleague, no, we have to see them, no, as humans at the end of the day, 'di ba? Yung focus ng talk ngayon is yung mga mothers nga and how they're seen as super beings, no, in our society. But the invitation is to see them as humans, no? Ano ba yung um, exhausted na pala sila, 'di ba? Ano ba yung mga struggles nila and saan ba natin sila puwedeng tulungan? And I think we can also apply the same logic to other people around us, 'di ba? We see people beyond the tasks that they do, but we see them as human beings, no? And human beings with dignity and rights, no? And we should be aware as fellow members in society where we may trample on their rights, no? Or treat them as invisible or simply as machines rather than humans.
Mhm. Yeah, so thank you so much, Ileana, for that great point, that reminder, and for everything that you've shared. I think people in the chat are appreciating those lessons as well. So everyone, I really wanted our Women's Month talk to be research, something more research based instead of just giving you advice and tips. So I hope that having that like knowledge can help you verbalize these issues more. Kailangan natin sila i-problematize, pag-usapan, para sa masama natin siyang masosolusyonan. In design thinking, we have this concept called designing from the edge, where if you design for the different or the edge cases, you also end up designing something that will work for the majority. If we design workplaces that are supportive for working moms, hindi lang working moms na magbe-benefit. Tayo lahat magbe-benefit. So I hope that's something we can be more vocal about in the coming years and months and with any organization that we're with. So everyone, that's it for our webinar. I'll just give you the reminders and the link for our certificate. So please, if you enjoyed learning with us today, connect with us on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Facebook page is Elisha Corpus Consulting. I'm going to post the recording of this webinar over there. And we also regularly share a lot of resources. For the webinar, please request for a certificate by answering the evaluation form, pasting that link again. So it's bit.ly-women at work eval 2024. The link is in the chat. No need to type the whole thing. All right. Some reminders about certificates. Again, the form will be open for 2 hours only after this call ends. Certificates will be given within 1 week. So until next Monday, give us time to do that. No revisions will be made. So please, everyone, type carefully. Type your correct name, type your correct email, because we are not going to do revisions. Like what I said, very small team, and our real work is with our clients. And the webinar is really just something we do to share knowledge because it's so much fun to learn together, diba? That's why I hope you can help us as well by typing your correct name and email. Please join us in next month's webinar. I'm going to announce all of that through our page. Or if you want to work with us, our work is really with different organizations. Please just book a call with us. You can email us or message our page, and then we'll start there. And everyone, that is it. Again, thank you so much for being here. If you have questions, feel free to stay and ask those questions. But if you do not have any more questions, you may leave the call and we are going to see you next month.